So a few weeks ago, I went to an organization here in Cabo San Lucas, and it's a non-for-profit. I was invited out there. Korey Riggs took me, and a lot of you know Korey, a friend of mine, involved in the local community. It's called Dar para Recibir, Give to Receive. And it's headed by an amazing woman, Patty, that has been here for a number of years running this organization. And it's for the local children, feeding them and educating them. Take a listen. Let's learn more about this organization. You're going to be amazed what they are doing to make Cabo San Lucas a better place. Guys, thanks for joining me on the podcast. It was probably about a month ago that we ran into each other at Infusion Cafe. And you told me about the organization that your mom started years ago. Yeah. And I had the opportunity with Korey a few weeks ago to visit it, and I wanted to talk about the organization. What's the name?
It's called Community Center Dar para Recibir, which translates to in order to receive, you have to give. Mm-hmm. I think everybody here in Cabo knows it by Patty's Kitchen, because that's how it started. Most people relate to that, but it's now grown to be more than just a kitchen. It's a full-on community center. And then what you saw is the brand new facilities that, thanks to all the people that believed in it, Korey and his members from both his foundations have made it this dream come a reality.
So your mom, Patty, started the organization how long ago?
So just recently, the nonprofit, the AC Asociación Civil, turned 14 years old. 14? Mm-hmm. What she was telling me is that she wasn't living in Cabo, but you and your brother coerced her to move to Cabo. The first granddaughter did that. Okay. My daughter, Chloe, was about to be born. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to be close to, obviously, her granddaughter, firstborn, and it was just a perfect transition. But her whole story and mission starts from where she was at before, where she really faced hunger and that's the reason the nonprofit is called Por los Niños de la Sierra, meaning for the kids of the
Sierra Mountains.
Yeah, Sierra Mountains, right?
Where was she prior to moving here?
It's a really small town, so most people don't know this, but the state of Chihuahua, where Juarez with El Paso border, that state is the biggest state of Mexico. And in the middle of it, it's a bunch of woods. Like if you're there, if someone dropped you there without knowing, you think you're in Washington.
Really?
It's full of pine trees, it's beautiful, snows, all that stuff. And actually the reason my mom used to have a cabin was because she always wanted to have a cabin.
Okay.
And so that's where she started the whole thing. It's called Mesa del Huracán. It's a little takes a long time to get there. So I'm happy she's here.
Yeah, so she moved here 14 years ago, and she's trying to find a purpose of something to do, right?
Yeah, she gets here probably 9 years ago. She gets here, and she's still running the community kitchen. Okay. Back where she was at, she was still doing it remotely. And she gets here, and she sees that the gap between the service workers and who they're servicing is huge. Yeah. And she starts driving around, certain areas in town, specifically in Cabo San Lucas, because that's where she was living. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that San Jose doesn't have a huge need as well. It does. But it's just easier for her. And she just, she would ask for my car, and she would start driving and poking around and talking to people. And the thing that really surprised me was we all know how hot it can get here in Cabo, especially summer. And when you're in areas as you were when you went to visit, it's all dirt. Yeah. It gets really hot. Yeah. And she went knocking door to door to make a census. Be like, I'm planning on doing this. How many kids do you have? Da 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 da. And she was, I think, after 15, 20 houses, she was like, okay, I don't need to continue. I have plenty of kids to work with.
Okay. And what was the first effort that she did?
The first effort was to get the land, to get the ejidatarios to donate the land. Mm-hmm. And as we know, there's certain areas here that are squatted property, right? And we knew the long-term goal was what it is now. We wanted to be in a place that was clean title property, that if we build something, it's under the name of the association and not something illegal, right? So it was getting the land, and then second of all was getting a kitchen, right? To start with the kitchen. And that happened, thankfully. You know Chef Edgar Roman?
Yes.
So he has his event, Chef for Los Cabos, every year, and this was his first, when he did the event, he designated the funds to my mom's
the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And the coolest thing is that maybe a year and a half ago, we returned the trailer.
The trailer.
Back to him.
Because you didn't need it.
You didn't need it anymore.
Okay, so how many years ago was it that he donated the money for the kitchen?
I think it's going to be
5 years ago?
5 years ago.
And there was a big change to that property.
Huge.
And so, Korey, tell us about that.
Yeah.
Because you came into the picture for that project?
Yeah, so, well, just to go back a little bit, I mean, with the El Dorado and both Chileno Bay Foundations, we were involved in a big effort during COVID to help feed the community. And so we were on the board, and we created this Baja California Store Community Alliance with some other foundations. And we delivered, I think it was 94,000 families food over 7 months. So through that effort, after we didn't have to go door to door anymore, we started seeing, there's all these community kitchens. So we started working through them. And one thing right away we noticed differently about Patty's was that Patty didn't just give out food. I mean, she was teaching, she was doing values, she was taking care of the kids. And not only was she just when she was giving food, which is a very important component of what she's doing, she was giving nutritious food. And so it was very different. It wasn't just whatever was available.
Right.
She was making sure that the kids had nutritious food, which is one of the huge pillars there. I mean, it's such an incredible place, and she's such an incredible, dedicated person that it's easy to support her. And so what happened was we started working with her. When we got there was a container and there was an awning. That was pretty much it. And there was a cement pad. And so the kids were all there, and we got our developer at Chileno Bay to do a project, Frondoso, who you've probably seen his trucks around. But he, Alejandro, the owner, he did a project. He did it all for free. So he wrote it out, designed it, and we just had all the different areas up on a board, and we would bring members out, and they would check off their names, which parts they want to do, whether it was a classroom or the bath. I mean, there's world-class bathrooms out there now. It's incredible. Before it was these tires with holes in the ground, and just. So what happens is these kids now have a world-class, it looks like Chileno Bay there. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
Marble floors.
Marble floors. It's the same developer. And you're in the middle of the barrio out there. I really invite everyone to come visit, because as you saw, it just blows you away when you see it, because you see the dedication of Patty. You see what's happening with these kids. I mean, they are so focused. I have seen such a change over the last probably 3 years of their educational level, the things they're doing, the things they're involved with, and it's really giving kids hope for a future that's different. And we have one center now. We'd like to have 20, and that's what we're working towards. And Rodrigo, working very closely with him and Patty, we're putting together a manual. How do you do this from soup to nuts? Like what do you need to do? First, you got to own the land, because we can't put capital, because that wouldn't be a good steward of our donors' money on land that's not owned. So we're right now investigating where else we can go, and through that we did the food bank. Food bank is also supporting. So there's just a lot of incredible synergies that have happened, and just so happy that you were able to go out and
Well,
see
I
it.
was impressed because, what was it, the Day of the Kid?
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so all the kids were playing and doing arts and craft, and we arrived, and all these kids start hugging Korey, and it was incredible.
No, it's the best thing. If I'm ever having a bad day, I just drive out there, because I get all these hugs, and they're just like the most open-hearted hugs in the world. I mean, it's
Unconditional
incredible.
love.
Unconditional.
Yeah.
And I think Hard Rock did the Day of the Kid, right? Was it Hard Rock?
It was Hard Rock, yep.
Yeah, they came in, brought all it was amazing.
Yeah.
which was great how Hard Rock got involved because Fundación Solmar Foundation, got reached out by Nivea, the cream.
Yeah.
They were staying at Hard Rock. They wanted to give out 36 bicycles. I don't know if you saw the bicycles.
I did see the bicycles,
right? 36 bicycles were donated, right? And now you look at the kids, it's their transportation method.
Right.
So you see them leaving, right? It's so beautiful. And that's how it just continues to pass on, people knowing what we're doing, right?
Rodrigo, how many kids go to the center?
77, right?
77.
I think it's more. Didn't it go
No,
up
it was
a little?
70. She just told. I just saw her the other day, and she's now up to 77.
Yeah, so I've been always saying it was 72, and then the other day my mom said we're going through the monthly finances, right? And I'm like, Mom, there's 77. Stop telling me 72. There's 77. And of course, as you know, the person in charge of fundraising, all that stuff, I'm like, stop, Mom. Like, I need to, right?
Yeah.
Don't. But it's hard. I mean, we have 15 kids on the waiting list, right? And it's
Hard to turn on their way, right?
Yeah, it's hard. But we trust that everything is the perfect timing. Everything synchronicity has played fabulously, and we're gonna trust that all the funds are gonna be in place for us to help as many kids as possible, because we can. It's doable. It's not that crazy.
You started as a food kitchen, and then you're now educating the kids, and you have all these classrooms up to 6th grade, right?
Up to 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and they're doing 7th and 8th grade now because the kids have now graduated from 6th grade and they don't want to go anywhere else.
Oh, of
so
course.
Patty's adding another 2 grades, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be the afternoon, is my understanding.
No, we're keeping them there. We want to keep them on the same schedule. They just 2 Saturdays ago, or last Saturday was the graduation day. 8 kids graduated. You know what was their overall GPA? A+.
A+. And so some of the people that are going to be listening or watching this are going to say, aren't there public schools for the kids? And so what do you guys say to that? I mean, the kids don't have public school options?
No, they do have public school options.
Yeah.
However, it's very challenging. You can have 80 kids to 1 teacher. You can have... They're just too full, so they don't take them. So if you go out to the barrios right now, you'll see, because the way they do the classes here is there's morning classes and there's afternoon classes. But a lot of those kids aren't going to either one because there's no reason. And the same thing with COVID. I don't know if a lot of people understand this, but the private schools opened after a year. The public schools were closed for at least 2 years. Mm-hmm. They didn't open them because they were in disrepair. They just weren't ready to open. And so imagine there's a whole generation of kids that lost 2 years of school. And we have such an issue out, if you go out past the airport, and I'm assuming that some of your listeners have not done that. Maybe they've flown over or they've seen it. But when you really go into it, you realize that the disparity, and a lot of places you hear this, there's such a disparity between rich and poor, but here it's just unbelievable. We have the richest coastline in the world, richest people in the world live here, and the people that are making that experience great, some of them are living in very bad conditions, and there is something we can do about it here. It's not that big, and with the level of wealth that we have, just getting a plan together, if we had 20 of these schools, you would change a whole different area of people. And the other thing that, just to mention, and I know you saw this when you were out there, the other thing that Patty's doing that is it's groundbreaking is they have these gardens out there. They have hydroponics, and they also have what's called chinampas. And chinampas are based on the Aztec technology of how they grew plants and grew vegetables in Mexico City because it was all in a lake. So we have a doctor from La Paz, Paula, who has developed this thing for like 350 pesos. It's a 4x4 garden that can actually grow out in the barrios. All you have to do is clean the dust off the plants so they can photosynthesize. But the kids are learning how to do that. And we have a program now to send these chinampas home with the kids so they can learn about it, but also eat better. Because as we know, chips and Coca-Cola, that's what people are eating. You can't learn when that's all you're eating. Right. Your brain is not going to develop. So we're creating a problem, and we need to change the narrative and change the food source. Right. And that's such the thing that Patty's doing. So we have 77 kids that are being changed. how many more can we change? All we have to do is come up with which we're doing. We're working on it right now so we can do more of these and really do something about those Cabos.
It's amazing. It's really, really incredible. Also, one of the things that impressed me is that your mom is not only dedicating her life to this, but she lives there. And she...
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, because she was telling me that you and your brother didn't want her to live there.
Oh, hell no.
And she said, what?
It was not a good conversation.
Yeah.
There's two reasons that is when I woke up. One is when my mom was pretty smart. She's a pretty smart lady. Is that when she got my brother and I to sign the bylaws of the nonprofit 14 years ago, she knew like eventually you're gonna have to
give it to someone.
You're gonna have to work on this eventually because your name and signature is on it. I told my brother the day that my mom said, "Stop paying for my condo, I'm gonna go move over there." I said to my brother, "This is for real, bro. This is not just her little project.
Yeah.
She's going all in, and she's letting it all go."
Yeah.
And that's where I really understood and felt and absorbed and saw the word congruency.
Yeah, if you're saying, preaching, and day to day working in it, and then you live in it.
And as soon as that happened, the synchronicity of things just started happening because they see obviously my mom is lighter skin, so sometimes they call her the gringa, which she's not at all, right? But so for her, it was like even for her to be in that area, it was shocking to those people, and they really support her heavily because they're like, there's this lady that she has a choice, and she's choosing to take care of my kids
and live
there.
Yeah, and that was beyond amazing.
And I don't know if you told them about. Did you see my mom's cabin?
Yeah. Well, what she used to live in.
Yeah.
And then what she lives in now.
Right. So the cabin, I don't know if Korey told you, that cabin, they were going to this, kind of bring it all down where they're going to build her new house.
Right.
My mom said, no, don't destroy it. Let's refurnish it and then put it where the garden is.
Yeah.
And let's build a safe haven for single parents that need to get out of a bad situation.
Yeah. Wow.
That's, we're already helping someone with it, right? So it's awesome.
A lot of our clients and people that we're in contact with, our agents or staff, are asking us how they can get involved. And I think this is a great organization to get involved in. In fact, one of the things I learned on our visit is that you don't have, at least 3 weeks ago, an English teacher.
Correct.
And so we told your mom, we're in. Ronibel's in. Find the person. We'll pay the salary.
Thank you.
And but for everyone else that wants to get involved, how can they get involved?
The easiest and the best way is schedule a time to go visit. Because once you get there, your heart will tell you how you can help.
Yeah.
It's just going there. Because once you get there, there's some people that are more into psychology, right? Because we have a psychologist. Yeah, we have psychologists, right? Because our 3 pillars is mindfulness, the well-being emotionally and physically, which I wish I would have known that and I waited 40 years to get it. Nutrition and education. So depending on where you're at, and it's so funny, it happens to us all the time, right? When we tour someone, they go, I know how I can help.
But you have to go there.
You have to go there. The easiest, obviously, going into getting involved is that. Obviously, donations are more than welcome. Yeah. Right? We have phenomenal facilities, but we do have staff to pay and all that stuff. So, obviously, that is more than welcome. And since we're a donataria autorizada, we can provide receipts for tax deductions.
Yep.
So that's huge. That's why a lot of local businesses here and hotels and other foundations are assisting us with the situation. But what would you recommend?
No, and also if people need a U.S. tax receipt, they can do it through us.
Okay.
And
So separate organization,
separate,
but you're
but
partnered up.
Yeah.
and-
So ChilenoBayFoundation.org or ElDoradoFoundation.org. So they're two separate 501c3s.
Yeah.
But so anything, if someone wants to support and get a U.S. tax receipt, they can go through us. 100%. We don't. There's no administrative cost. 100% goes directly granted to Data para Recibir, and so that's really what. And you can also get in contact with me to schedule a visit. I'm very happy to take people out there anytime. Rodrigo. And they have a great website, datapararecibir.org.
We'll give you the links. You can put it as
Yeah.
datapararecibir.org. Obviously our social medias as well and all that kind of stuff. And
Cool.
thankfully there's someone that also helps us now with our social media
Yeah.
because, running a nonprofit.
No, I can imagine. It's hard enough to run a business, right? But a non-for-profit, especially the emotions that are involved, right? And what you were just saying, having a wait list of 15 kids and to not have the space or the resources.
I mean, you and I have known each other for a long time.
Right.
We've seen each other grow professionally and all that kind of stuff. I mean, once I knew how important this is and now that the facilities are in place and how much we're impacting, I give up an executive role.
Yep.
And I'm fully just doing my real estate side of it to really focus 100% into the foundation because the impact it is going to do is such a generational impact. They'll be our workers,
Yep. Leaders.
entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
directors, and because of you, that you're gonna help us with an English teacher professional. They ain't gonna have an accent like me. That's I know.
That's
Unlike our Spanish accents.
exactly.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
That-
And I look forward to making an impact, Ronival, our clients, our staff, and anything I could do to help.
Well, if I can just say, I want to just thank you and Rocio also and Ronnie Ball in general, because since we've started back with this foundation with Chileno Bay and El Dorado, you guys have jumped in. We have a bus that takes kids up to La Paz
Right.
because there's no specialty medical treatment here. You were one of the first people to get in on that. We have 2 buses now, and we're about to open a whole center here. So that's another podcast, but you just thank you to Ronnie Ball and all your clients and everyone that's really helped us just make better things for this community.
What we do is easy. What you do, and especially your mom, is super hard. It's super hard, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Nick.
And until the next one, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or FindMexicoHouses.com. Hasta luego.